Hi, I'm Jill Chivers.
I'm Jane Kesey.
And I'm Imogen Lamport, and we are the 16 Style Types team. Today we want to talk to you about personality and why we believe personality is the key to style. Now, I've been an image consultant for the past 14 years, and I've always known, in fact, from the moment I did my training, in fact, before I did my training, I knew that personality was key because I'd spent some time researching what worked for my body.
Right.
But I still was unsure of what to wear.
Yeah.
And it was during my image consultant training that I started to get a glimpse into the world of personality and understanding that different personality types prefer different sorts of clothing styles.
Yeah.
That you know, someone who is, say, would describe themselves as relaxed and easygoing is more likely to want to wear more casual clothes versus someone who would describe themselves as powerful and dynamic might prefer a more dramatic and more structured style of clothing.
Yeah.
For someone who's more nurturing and caring might prefer a more feminine and soft style of clothing. So I knew there was a key. So as much as I could give, you know, and I know, you know, the rules of what suits my body shape and what suits you, the colouring, that if you don't have that personality element, that you still don't know, well, if I'm going to wear a pattern, do I like patterns? Don't I like patterns? If I'm going to wear a pattern, do I wear a leopard print? Do I wear a floral? Do I wear a stripe? Do I wear a check? Is it an abstract print? Is it some sort of wearable art? I mean, I could go on and on about the different sorts of patterns.
Yeah.
And this is why often when you get that generic style advice that just says everybody should have a white shirt, that's the biggest load of garbage ever.
Yeah.
What's a little black dress?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
That we should be going, well, but what is it? And this is why for my 7 Steps to Style program, personality is step 1. But what we have discovered with our research with the 16 style types, that the style essence, which is what 16 style types gives you, is the key to unlocking your style.
I trained as an image consultant and practiced for about 15 minutes back in the 2000s, and at that stage there was a lot of interest in personality, as there still exists, personality and style, but there wasn't a tool. There was not a way to successfully link these two things together, and whenever personality was talked about in reference to style, it was all about style expression. It was all about how you express elements, and that's important. That is a key part of the style puzzle. What has always been missing is what precedes expression, which is who you are, your style DNA, your style essence. And when you get that, the next piece, the style expression piece, just seems to flow more naturally, because it's like understanding your colors. When you know your color palette, you can walk into a store, ignore whole swathes of things, it's just completely wrong for you. You can combine colors if you know your value contrast and your color contrast. You can put things together, you're confident, and you feel that who you are is not only okay, but great. And that's what 16 Style Types has done for personality. We've made you feel great about being who you are. And then the expression part of it, there's whole stacks of stuff you can just ignore. There's whole stacks of stuff that you can amplify and make the most of. And that, it is such a wonderful thing to be able to say to somebody that who you are is absolutely fantastic, and we want to help you be the best part of who you are.
You know, and I think for a lot of women who've been stuck, just haven't been able to figure out what will work for them, personality type almost gives a roadmap. You know, I grew up with 4 big brothers, and style was not a part of the conversation at our house. You know, the hockey was. And so it took me a long time to figure out that I knew I couldn't wear my relaxed style all the time, but I kept making mistakes trying to go to a more business-like wardrobe.
Right.
And when I learned about personality type, and I've been a practitioner for almost 30 years now.
Right. And the author or co-author of nearly 30 books.
And one a year.
She knows a bit about this.
But you know, it dawned on me slowly, because I would look at someone and go, oh, they are so put together, I should look like that.
Right.
I can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
I knew it at a heart level, and it finally dawned on me that if you go through some of the other materials on the website as an intuitive, I'm not that connected with reality. So I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together about what worked for me. And so realizing that I have to be unique, that I'd better be careful in defining what it is in that uniqueness that works for me. This all comes from my personality type.
Yeah.
And I am making, you know, when I finally put it all together, partly with the help of these two, I have saved so much money.
Yeah.
And I feel at home in my clothes, even more importantly.
Yeah, yeah. And would you say you feel a loaded question, leading question here, more you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I will never be old enough to wear sequins. And that's not true. It's not true of everyone of my type, but what is true of everyone of my type is that we've got our own rules.
Yeah. And I think what's really important, and what you mentioned before, is that when you look at other women, you think, I should be like them.
Yes.
This is what many of us do. We might go on Instagram, we might go on Pinterest, we might look somewhere for inspiration, and I need a style icon. And then I want to dress like them, and I put it on and I go, it does not feel like me.
It's a costume.
And this is where your style essence will tell you not what exact clothes you should put on. This is not what we're telling you. But what we're telling you is much more about your personality and why and how you might want to interpret clothing for you, and how you will use clothing for you.
Yeah.
And how that really clothing and fashion are a tool to express you in the way that is best for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's so key, because it's finally going, it's like I've come home to me, rather than imagine the house burnt down, I lost all my clothes, and people were very kind and they donated me a whole lot of clothes.
Right.
It's like, but they're not my clothes and I didn't choose them. And this is often why when I see in wardrobes, when people are being given things by helpful relatives or friends who just go, well, you know, I don't want this. Now, it's one thing, because sometimes you might go, great, I love this thing.
Yeah.
But frequently I see wardrobes of stuff people don't wear, they don't even like, it's not them, but they're holding on to it because they were given it with love and caring by that person. But they know it's not their style expression.
Yes.
And so it's going, okay, it's never going to be me. Allow me to let that stuff go.
Yes.
And often too, I think the other thing that happens is very frequently, we can often know a few rules, and this is why it's good to learn your style expression rules and make up your own set of rules, but you know a few rules of what works, and maybe there's 3 colours I'm aware of that look good and all those sorts of things.
Right.
But then what can happen over time is we can go, oh, I'm bored with this. And so we go out and buy different. Now, if I suddenly got Jill's different and I put it on, I wouldn't feel like me, and then I'll never wear it again. But this is where often we go, I've made an expensive mistake. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
And so it's that when you know your style essence, you can go, okay, I am someone who likes quirky.
Yeah.
Just because everybody else is wearing corporate and classic doesn't mean I have to. Or you might be, I am someone who prefers classic and understated and minimal. You know, just because everybody else is doing quirky, I don't need to do that. And that gives you a freedom and almost like an inner relaxation.
Yes.
That you won't get in other ways.
And you can advance your style in the way that is right for your style type without throwing everything out, borrowing somebody else's style, going too radical, not taking enough risk. It's going to be different for each person and each woman of a style type, how she does that. But our blueprint gives you some ideas that you can do that in a way that's right for you, whether that's safely and steadily or a bit more radically and more risk-taking. And that's really, really helpful, because it means you're going to save a lot of money. It means you're going to reduce your carbon footprint by buying clothes that don't have much shelf life. You're going to reduce time and energy and just your own psychic energy in pulling together a wardrobe that works for you. So if you are interested in understanding more about your style personality and you haven't been through a process to discover your style personality, please do so here, or download your style report if you already know what your 4 letters are. If you're interested in style expression, there's another video on that, and we'll also provide a link for you if you want to explore some of those things for you as well.